Alright, so let's go ahead and start actually coding our projectile simulator. And just about any time, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to define a screen. Just about anything you do is going to want to have some kind of screen. So we're going to type in screen size. Notice the capitalization there. Notice that the first letter is not capitalized, and then the word size is capitalized. It's important. Python does pay attention to capitalization. You'll notice a lot of functions tend to start with a lowercase, and then each new word will have a capital letter. That's to try and avoid running into issues with things that have already been defined in Python. So that's why we do it that way. You'll commonly see it. It's a good habit to get into when you define your own functions. Okay, so screen size. We're going to set that to 960 by 720. You know, that's kind of a weird size. I was trying to find something that would fit within most monitors. So I think a lot of monitors, older style monitors, might be 1024 in width and 768 in height. So I'm just trying to make it kind of fit inside of that. So we're going to go with that for our screen size. And for now, we're not going to declare variables. We're not going to define any sprites just yet. The first thing we want to do is we want to go down to kind of to the bottom of the script, down to this main loop area. Okay, so we're going to start our main loop. So Python, what we're going to do is we're going to have it run a loop constantly, non-stop, the whole time our thing is open until we tell it to exit the program. This will probably make a little bit more sense once we've programmed it in. I can explain it kind of after the fact. So let me see if I can't get my mouse to stay there. I've got a little bit of tension on my cable. Apologies. Okay, so we're going to type in main loop. This is just, I'm just defining a variable. This is another thing you could call whatever you want. You could call this, you know, potato or you name it, you know, Dr. Pepper can, whatever. But to keep it simple for humans, because it'll make sense to us when we see the word main loop, we're going to think of the main loop of our little simulator. So we're going to set that equal to true. And the reason we're doing that is because in this next line, we're going to say while main loop equals true. And then underneath of this, we're going to indent. We're going to hit the tab button, and that'll indent one space. So what's going to be a little bit confusing, I think, to some people starting off, is that Python cares about something called white space. And white space is the area between letters. It's the area that tabs use. And so by inserting a tab here, we're telling it that anything at this level, the level of my cursor now, is going to happen inside of this thing, right? Inside of the thing above it that is not tabbed. This is kind of like the parent thing, and all the other little tabbed things in here are going to happen inside of this. Okay. So right now we're going to leave while main loop equals true blank right there. We won't worry about setting our frame rate just yet. But down here at the bottom, tell Python what to do when we press various keys. We're going to care about that. So notice that when I click on this, it's not tabbed in. So that wouldn't happen during the main loop. So that's no good. I'm going to hit the tab button, make sure that we're in there. And then I'm going to say for event in pygame dot event dot get. And then I'm going to put open parentheses, close parentheses, because it's not going to take any inputs. And then the colon is saying, okay, so start this. The next line is going to auto-indent for us, and it's going to say so this is telling the computer, if there's an event in Pygame, get that event. Okay, so get whatever just happened, right? And I hit enter, and you notice it kind of tabbed in. So now this line is happening inside of this for when that event happened, right? Which is already happening inside of the main loop. Okay. Now, if that event, so we're going to do event.type, is equal to, notice that I'm putting two equal signs there. If you put one equal sign, it's you telling the computer this is equal to this, right? Main loop is equal to true. Set it to be true. You're telling it to do something. If you use two equal signs, you're saying, check this. Check to see if this is the case. And if it is the case, do this thing. And if it's not the case, then ignore it. So two equal signs is asking the computer, hey, is this true? Is this the case? One equal sign is saying, do this. Okay. So two equal signs there. if that event is pygame.getKeyDown, or sorry, just key down. Okay, so if there's an event in Pygame, and if that event is you pushing a button, and if that event, well, let me double check and make sure I'm doing this right. Nope. If event.key is equal to, and again I'm using 2 because we're going to check to see if it is equal to this. We're going to do pygame.k underscore, and then the, I believe it's escape. Let me double check this. Well, you know what, let's just try it, shall we? Escape. Okay. If pygame.k underscore escape, that might need to be all caps. We're going to find out in a moment. Well, then what do we want to do? We want to set our main loop to false. We don't want to be running the game anymore. We're going to turn it off. We're going to set it to false. And then we're going to do pygame.quit. We're going to open parentheses. We're going to close parentheses. And so this is saying, okay, did something happen? Yeah? Well, was that thing someone pushing a key? Yeah? Well, did they push the escape key? Well, if that's all true, then turn off the main loop and quit the game. All right, okay, so let's see what happens here. Let's go ahead and go to the top here. We're going to go to Run, and we're going to go to Run Module. It's going to make you save it. And actually, you know what? Before we do this, cancel that. Let's save this as something else so that we keep our shell script intact here. Let's save this as manual projectile. Okay. Let's go ahead and run that. Oh, I've got some invalid... Oh, very good. Okay, so the invalid syntax. This is a good example. This will happen a lot when you're coding, especially if you're not great, like I'm not great. Then it's going to tell you, hey, something's wrong with this. And so then you're going to have to figure out, well, what did I do wrong here? And so when I look at this, I set main loop equal to true, and I actually did the thing I told you guys not to do. So there's only one equal sign here. In a while loop, I'm not saying set it to true. I'm saying while main loop is equal to true, check to see if this is the case. So I need 2 equal signs there. Let's try this again. We're going to run it. We're going to make sure we save it. Oh, and I've forgotten my colon as well. We're going to hit run. All right, that time it worked. Okay, so we have made, you can see again, we renamed our little window text there to Projectile Simulator. We've made an 800 by 600 window, and that's looking good. It doesn't do anything yet. You can click around, you can do whatever you want. But if we hit the escape key, oh, something gone wrong here too. Okay, so yeah, I think the escape is incorrect there. Let's go ahead. We're just going to hit this X up here on my little debug thing. And let's try capitalizing that whole thing. Okay. All right, it opens that window. We hit the escape button. All right, and it closes down. Okay, so now we successfully made ourselves a little window that we basically, all it does is we can open it and we can close it. Right, but we did that. We programmed that. One more thing before we finish this video. Let's go ahead and let's make the grid to the right. Let's give ourselves a background image. Okay, so I'm going to, let's set the grid to the right size, the thing right above our main loop. We're going to do set background image. That's a function that we've already called in from Steve's stuff. And now we need to put an image in here. Let's go ahead and just close the parentheses off while we go find that image, and then you can key back over inside those parentheses. So if we go back to our images folder, inside here there's a grid 1, a grid 2, and a grid 3. For right now, we're just going to use grid 3. That's the largest grid, and when we're practicing, we're just going to stick with that. So we're going to find it's in a folder next to our script called images. And inside of that folder is an image called grid3.png. So inside of these parentheses, I'm going to do a open, goodness, the word escapes me, little finger quotes, right? Open quotations. And we're going to do images. We're going to do a backslash. So that's telling it go into the images folder. And look, it even gives us a drop down of the images that are inside of that folder. If it doesn't do that for you, then just go ahead and type in grid3.png, but you can also just double click. And then we do need to remember to close off those quotations, because you can see the parentheses, the closed parentheses there is green just like the rest of the text. We don't want that. We want that to be an actual closed parenthesis. And so now we've set this background image. This is another reason to set the screen size to the appropriate size, because that's the size of the grids that I made too. So now if we run this again, and we're going to go ahead and save it. We always need to save it. Okay, so now we've got a window, and it's got a nice little grid thing there for us. So, so that's a good start. Next time we're going to add in a ball. Maybe we'll start doing some horizontal motion as well. So that's all for this video. Good luck. Hopefully all's going well, and I'll see you in the next one.